little bit today about some updates with the city and potentially have some time for questions. So he's a very busy man and we're very excited to have him here today. So please give him a warm welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Zoe. Okay, I am very excited to be with you. I'm also very excited to be in the right place. I was across the way just moments ago. I did not speed, but I hustled across. I heard the You're probably right.
I've done it.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, so what I'd like to do is give you a little bit of an overview of what's going on. I'll try not to be too lengthy and try to hit some high points, but very happy to dive further into details. And we will have, my goal is to make sure every single one of your questions is asked, and as many of those that I want to answer is answered. I'm joking. I want to answer all of them. If I don't have an answer, I'll make sure that I get that answer and information back to the team here to disseminate it to you. Okay, so first, couple of things. So one is, I know it's middle of the summer. It certainly feels that way. By the way, I have not had air conditioning in my home for the last 12 days. Thank you very little to my HVAC contractor, but today it's back. So, middle of the summer, but we are already well into budget discussions and movement at the City of Rockford for 2025. So, want to give you just a brief update and tell you, we know that we're not going to be increasing property taxes in this upcoming budget. That'll make the 12th year that the city did not increase them. Since I've been mayor, which this will be my 8th budget, we have not increased property taxes. We've actually decreased them twice in those 8 years. And when I say not increase them, I think this is important. A lot of taxing bodies will say they're not increasing property taxes, but they're taking the new growth, the new development. We're not taking anything. When I became mayor, we took in $48 million from all of our residents and businesses in property taxes. Today, we take in $48 million, the same exact amount. And we're going to continue to do that as long as we're able to do it. A couple of interesting things to note, and I know this because I actually had to give a speech solely on these things, so these stats aren't something I track all the time, but I know them because of a speech I had to give recently. I took office in 2017. 2016, we had the lowest property values that we've had since before 2002. In 2016, we had the highest property tax rate that we've had since 2002. Today, we have the highest property values we've had in the last 30 years. Today, we have the lowest property tax rate that we track at the City of Rockford. When I say we at the city, I just want you to know we are roughly about 21% of your tax bill, and we're one of about 11 taxing bodies. So that doesn't mean property taxes for everyone will go down. We're just one portion of it, so that's all I can control. But we're seeing really wonderful success. Most recently, Wall Street Journal named us the hottest real estate market. Our property values have increased 56% since 2017. I still think we have a ways to go in getting that up. One area that we absolutely need in the city of Rockford is we need new housing. And when I say we need new housing, I mean we need new housing of all kinds. We need affordable housing. We need market rate housing. We need senior assisted housing. We need luxury housing. We need housing at all levels of our market. And we have put together an incentive program that I worked on and helped lead with a number of taxing bodies. So we said today, if you build a new residential unit in the city of Rockford, we will rebate your taxes for 3 years. We will waive your water connection fee. We will waive your permit fees. We will waive your plan review fees. We want to make it as easy as possible for someone to want to build a new residential home in the city of Rockford. We're starting to see some success. We're seeing more single-family homes, permits being pulled. Right now, there's a development in front of City Council for 260 units of market rate, as well as a new senior living facility. We have another development in front of City Council right now for about 30 to 40 units. So we're starting to see this grow, and we needed to because we did a housing study about 4 months ago, and the housing study said, depending on how we move, we are at a minimum going to need 3,000 new residential units and potentially all the way up to 9,000 new residential units for all of the economic development that's coming to our area. So you can look at like Stellantis with almost 5,000 jobs will be coming. You can look at smaller things like PCI out on Linden Road. They're going to be hiring 500 people. You can look at the casino. They're going to be hiring up to 1,000 people when they're fully operational. And so there's lots of different economic development projects taking place, and we need housing so that people want to move here and take those developments. Want to let you know our capital improvement plan is moving forward. We are doing about $56 million worth of construction just this summer alone. Which is the most in our city's history. Some of the big projects, if you look at this year and next year, you're going to see Whitman Interchange, you're going to see School Street, Auburn Street. I'm thinking of the roads over on this area. You will not see Rockton. There's portions of Rockton that need it, but you will not see Rockton in the next 2 years. We also will be increasing the amount of money that go into our neighborhood roads as well in the coming weeks. I will tell you, when you look at our budget from 2023, we have a surplus. We've now paid all the bills that were due in 2023, got all the revenue in that was owed to us from 2023. We'll have a surplus of about $20 million. We will be spending a lot of that on major infrastructure projects such as Riverside, Alpine, from Spring Creek to Highcrest, Mulford, from Fincham to Guilford, Newburgh from Alpine to Mulford. So a lot of major roads will be reconstructed, and my hope is with those roads that if we can get our work done quick enough, I'd love to see those under construction next year. So we're moving in the right direction there. I'll quickly provide you a little update on economic development as well as safety, and then take any questions that you have. As I spill my water all over myself. Okay, I mentioned PCI. So PCI, you may recall, used to be Anderson Packaging. It's now PCI Pharma Services, and it's a global company. They are expanding more than 500,000 square feet of new buildings here in Rockford. Now, what's really neat about PCI in Rockford is since they're global, more than half of their employees globally now are housed in Rockford. More than half of their global revenue now comes from Rockford. Really good to see. Viking Chemical, longtime family business, moved into the Rockford Products building. They're now fully operational into that facility, hiring more employees and bringing that facility back to life. I did mention the casino, so I'll just touch on that a little bit. I've done several tours of the casino in the last couple of weeks, last 2 months, I should say. They have 400 employees roughly at the temporary casino. They really only need about 230, 250 of them, but they've been hiring, and they're just hiring them on early to get ready for the permanent. The permanent will open Labor Day weekend. They have a whole set of music and activities to take place out there, but they hope to have about 800 total employees by the day they open in Labor Day. And then a couple months later, I'll say 4 to 6 months later, they hope to get up to about 1,000. And that does not include when they have major events and they need to get up to 1,100 or even more. But they really want to have about 1,000. A neat thing about that is the average wage of their jobs is $50,000 a year. So they're good paying jobs for Rockford residents. And they've done a really good job of focusing on hiring Rockford residents, which is one of the things we mandated in our host community agreement with them. I'm going to divert a little bit from economic development to talk about something specific to Hard Rock, just because it has been in the news and it will be, I know, in the coming weeks, and I want you to know why I'm doing what they say I'm doing. So, we own the BMO Center downtown. We own the Coronado downtown. We charge me and you and anyone else who wants to come to an event there an amusement tax. So you buy your $30 ticket, you get a $2.50 tax on it. We take that money and we put that money back into the maintenance of the Coronado and the BMO. Truthfully, that money is minimal. It doesn't touch what we need to reinvest. So I'll give you an example of that. We generate about $150,000 annually from those two facilities for that tax. Just in the last 4 years, we've put more than $20 million into both of those buildings. So it doesn't touch it, but it also doesn't hurt us. We'll take as much money. And another great thing is, majority of the dollars that come in, it may surprise you, but they're not Rockford residents who are going to BMO and Coronado. The majority of the folks are Rockton, Roscoe, Chicago, Milwaukee, coming here for events. So I want as much of outside money as I can possibly get to save all of us money. So you're going to see that I am pushing for an amusement tax on the Hard Rock. I want it to be a 5% tax on any event that they do out at the Hard Rock music event, and a 3.5% tax on any sporting event out there. You're going to see that they don't want to do that. Shocker. I want you also to know is I believe that those dollars should be allocated to arts and culture. I think one thing that we as a community really need to invest in is the quality of life and the arts and culture that make up our city. And that could be everything from a new mural to public art sculpture to an after-school program that teaches kids leadership through the arts. We know right now that you are 2 times more likely to graduate from college. You're 5 times less likely to drop out from high school. You're less likely to move down a criminal path, and you're 78% more likely to be engaged and vote if you, as a student, were engaged in the arts. I think some of those things are things that we need in our city. We need less crime, we need higher education, so I support it. A lot of people will not support it. And that's all right, we'll just have to muscle it through. But you will read about that, and that is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm not gonna back off it, and some folks will not like it. I will also tell you, on a side note, tomorrow evening's a fun evening. Tomorrow evening at 5:30 to about 7:30, 8 o'clock, down at the brand new Rockford Public Library, which if you have not gone to, it's stunning. I mean, like, out of this world gorgeous. They've thought of everything for every age possible at that library. Tomorrow night, we will be, as a community, unveiling our first ever in our city's history arts and cultural plan. So we've done a lot of planning in our city. I like planning. I hate plans sitting on shelves. So my thought is, we need some money to put that plan into action. That amusement tax on Hard Rock will help me put that plan into action, so you understand why I'm doing it and the path that I'm going on. Other things, I've talked to folks at Wesley Willows, maybe not all of you each time, a lot about a company called Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi is laying down fiber optic cable in front of every home, business, and organization in the city. It's a 5-year construction process. 1 year of that construction is done. We're in year 2. They are going around our city. About 97% of Rockford has one internet provider that they can access. And so I believe there needs to be more choice to that. Sorry if any of you work at Comcast. But they need more choice. And I can tell you it's already working. Individual in my office was paying $120 for internet, now is paying $55 for higher speeds, more reliable network. So that is in process. They're spending about $225 million in the city of Rockford to do that. We will be the first city in the state that has fiber optic cable in front of every home, business, and organization. I mentioned Viking Chemical. I touched on the library kind of sideways, but it's honestly, I can't say enough about it. I mean, My son, who is 7, had the play date, and we said, well, where do you want to go with your buddy? And he chose to go to the Rockford Public Library. I was like, well, this is easy. Let's do that. Really expensive date you got there, Malachi. So honestly, it is the most gorgeous library I've ever walked into, except for some like real historic ones that are stunning. It's really beautiful. Today, I'm going to talk to you also about Davis Park. So Davis Park, right on the banks of the Rock River, right behind Embassy Suites Hotel. It's long been underutilized and not very welcoming. So we took down the fence. You know, nothing says come on in, enjoy the only park the city of Rockford owns, and we have a fence around it. Like, come on in, but not too far. We also took down the building, which many refer to as Founder's Landing. Now you can actually see the river. Fancy that, it's on the river, we should be able to see it. We are going to be putting a playground there on the far south end, so not in the main park, on the far south end, a skate park. We will be putting a brand new stage, a brand new restrooms there. I mentioned sculptures, a new pass system. We have boat docks there. We want to make, this is the only park we own. It should be activated. It should be welcoming to every person. So you'll be able to grab a bite to eat, go out and sit on a picnic table and have lunch, go listen to the symphony on a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, and just enjoy the park and the river. That's our greatest asset. We have long also owned the Watch Factory, the Truck Building, which is at 134 North Main in Mulberry, and the Armory. I will tell you, the Watch Factory and the Truck Building, both are under development agreements right now with Oliver Emerson and Associates, turning them into the Watch Factory into apartments, the Truck Building into retail on the first floor and apartments upstairs, and the Armory, I don't have tons of info that I'm allowed to share right now, but we have since I've been mayor, the first really serious interested party that wants to make that a cultural hub and really tie in the Discovery Center campus, the Burby campus, and all the great assets that are right there, and really bring that building back to life. So very excited for that. For further down on North Main, and probably by October, we will be officially opening something else I've talked to many of you about, which is Think Big. It's our first ever Women and Minority Entrepreneurial Accelerator, a small business incubator program, right at the old former Jerome Furniture Building at North Main and Auburn. Now, any person who has, it doesn't have to be a woman, it doesn't have to be a minority, that's the focus of it, but anyone who has a small business idea can walk in there, take classes, get education, get resources, so that they can start their business here in Rockford and grow it right here in Rockford. Two other programs that I talk a lot about, but we'll give you just a brief update on. Rockford Promise, going really well. So Rockford Promise, really quick, if you're not aware, you live in Rockford, go to Rockford Public Schools, earn a 3.0. We now pay for you to get a 4-year degree at Northern Illinois University. Before this program, we were averaging about 20 kids a year going to Northern Illinois University. This fall, we'll have more than 415 kids at Northern Illinois University getting a free college education. 70% of those kids are first-generation college-going students. More than 60% of those kids are kids of color in our city. So it is impacting those that we need it to impact. And one big thing that you should understand, we right now in Rockford, depending on the year, have about 21 to 23% of our population with a college degree. I'm a firm believer, and you'll hear in a minute, that I don't think every single person needs to go to college, but every successful community has to have a higher educational attainment level than what we do. I mean, higher educational attainment levels guarantee you lower rates of crime. Higher educational attainment levels guarantee you a more thriving local economy. So we need more kids educated. We also partnered with Goodwill to bring our first ever Excel Center to Rockford, which should open in 2025. We were hoping end of 2024, but they've had some issues with the building. I think it's going to be probably, my guess, I was hoping spring, but it could end up being fall of 2025. Excel Center, what the heck is it? Excel Center provides high school diplomas for adults who do not have a high school degree or a GED. So it doesn't provide them just a GED, it provides an accredited high school diploma. It also provides those adults free childcare access for while they're getting their degree. And it also partners with it's run by Goodwill, but Goodwill and Workforce Connection work and do job training with these individuals. So when they get that high school degree, they can immediately step into the workforce and become more and more productive and self-sufficient and reach their best selves. Other thing is I said not everyone needs to go to college, so we run a concrete program that we partner with a local pastor who also owns a concrete program, minority pastor who owns this concrete business. And we at the city pay these young people who, majority of them have had some, experience with our criminal justice system. And we pay them $20 an hour to learn the trade of concrete. And we partner with this pastor, and we partner the pastor with the building trades so that these young people can learn the trade on the city of Rockford's dime and then move into actually being a working member of the building trades. Every single one of the kids who have graduated in the last 2 years is now working on their apprenticeship program with the trades. What we get out of that is not only kids who have hope and opportunities now and are not doing criminal activity, but we also every year get more than 2 miles of sidewalk built in our neighborhoods, around schools, around parks, around churches, things that we know we need to either fix the sidewalk or actually put sidewalk in. So it's a win all the way around. Last thing I'll touch on and then take any questions that you have is public safety. And lucky for you, I just got the most recent stats today. So I'll take one step back and tell you my process and what we have been doing since I've been mayor for public safety. I'm a firm believer that we have 2 lanes that we could go down. I don't think all communities go down both of these lanes. I think they usually pick a lane and that's it. So one lane is enforcement. You commit a crime, you should be caught, and we hope to goodness that the judges hold you accountable. The other lane is you put young people in programs and you dissuade them from going down that path into the system. We're doing both. So I've increased the amount of money that we put towards police by nearly 50% since I've been mayor. We've increased the number of officers that we've hired. We have increased the number of mobile and stationary license plate readers, so now we can track where individuals are running around with stolen cars automatically. We have gunshot detection software. We have social analytics software, so when they do what I do, and I post I had a great breakfast, they may not post that they're having a great breakfast, they may say that they're at a party or about to go do something. We now can analyze that data, track those violent criminals through the social media. We've increased the number of cameras by more than 6 times. Any tool, technology that our officers need to do their job efficiently, effectively, and safely for them and our citizens, I'm gonna get and I'm gonna support. That's one path. The other path is we have to do something to turn off the fountain. We know through data that 52%, and that was last month, 51% of all of the city of Rockford's violent crime, I'm sorry, I keep moving on you. 51% of all of our violent crime is domestic violence. Of all the city's violent crime, 51% is domestic violence. We know that from 2016 through 2023, all the youth we arrest for violent offenses, they grew up in households where there was physical or sexual violence taking place. So those young people experience trauma. Men, we show that trauma more outwardly, and we're seeing that on our streets. Women typically, not always, show that trauma more inwardly by harming themselves in one form or fashion. So we are creating programs to address trauma at a very young age, all the way up to helping survivors of domestic violence get the resources they need. We have seen great success. Since I became mayor, we've seen a 34% reduction in violent crime, a 29% reduction in property crime, and that's up to 2023. Through June of 2024, we've seen an additional 5% reduction in violent crime compared to last year, an additional 11% reduction of property crime compared to last year, an additional 29% reduction in shots fired compared to last year. We are really far away from where we want to be, and you all deserve us to be, but I will tell you, it's undeniable and unequivocal that what we're doing is working. We are making progress. So, wanted to share those updates, but I'm most happy, I think, more productively, answer any questions that you have. And again, if I don't have answers to them, I'll make sure I get you the answers. Do you guys have questions? Yeah.
About 2 years ago, the city went into a negotiation with ComEd for, I think, 6 cents per kilowatt hour. And it's coming to an end in September. Do you have any update on that?
Yeah, so what you're referencing, just so I'm on the same path, we enter into an agreement that then all citizens can participate in unless you opt out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't know the amount. Yes, we are going to enter into another agreement. We've had more, what we have seen is incredible savings early on and minimal savings, but still savings.
Yeah.
So yes, we will do it again. We won't know that price until almost right up to September. It's a very last minute, like we do all these other negotiations and we look at the markets and we pick that price.
I'm sorry, price of what?
I'm sorry, electricity.
Thank you. Yeah, I thank you.
I'm happy that you're American.
You should tell my wife that.
Send her a video.
Yeah.
She'll not watch that. And I should have said, thank you for that. So, yep, I should have repeated, and I'll repeat all the questions. So, question was about, we enter in as a city into an agreement with ComEd. It's an aggregate agreement that we take everyone in the city and we say, we want our citizens to have this agreement. More often than not, it'll save you money. And what I was saying is, years ago when we started, it actually was started under the previous administration, we saved real money for residents, like significant dollars. Each time we've renegotiated, and was stated that contract's coming up in September, each time it's been a little bit less, but we always will enter into that agreement. You are in the agreement unless you choose to opt out, and it's a better rate. That's why we opt you in. Yeah.
I keep getting mailings from something called Clean Energy. I assume that's not related to this program with the city. Do you know anything about the Clean Energy source?
I don't, what are they saying to you?
Well, they're saying sign up with us.
Oh,
But it's no big deal, it's easy, do this, do that, and you're signed up. So, and I have great concerns for the environment.
give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can find you an answer before we leave. Do you know anything about mailings, residents, maybe?
We can't.
Raised in stuff.
Clean energy is coming with mailing residents. I'll find out. So the woman I just texted is our finance director who negotiates everything, and she's now become our wealth of information. So typically, if a lot of residents are getting these, someone's notified us and she's dug into it. So if I can find out, I'll let you know.
I've had some experience with that. And it was, like you, I was motivated to help with the environment.
Right.
And they had a very attractive rate, plus they give like $100 for you to sign up. And it runs for some period of time, 6 months usually, 9, 12 months. And you better remember when it ends, because then you're subject to all the market forces.
That sounds
And,
very accurate compared to many other mailers.
Oh.
I'll repeat what he's been saying.
I
So,
mean, I don't know if clean energy
It's
is
other
one,
private.
but it's one of those that wants to provide your electricity for a rate less than ComEd. And so I forgot about it, and all of a sudden, my utility bill, my electric bill got over $300 per month.
Whoa.
For, you know, it would normally be $60 or
Yeah.
something, because I wasn't paying attention, and the market forces were driving it up, and people like me were absorbing the difference.
So I'll repeat as much, I'll synthesize that. So, great question about a resident getting a mailing from an energy company, I'll say. So that way I don't talk about one specific, because I don't know all the specifics. Energy companies are sending you these constant mailers saying, please sign up with us, we'll beat your ComEd rate. Some have very catchy names that may make you think that it's really good for the environment. They may even give you a break, may even give you a little refund of money. They'll entice you in. But very eloquently stated, you really have to read that fine print, because not all, but many of the companies, you will get that for 6 or 9 months or 12 months, and then if you don't turn it off at that, you then are subject to all the market forces. And so was just stating, did it once, and bill was typically around 60, and then was up to $300, and was like, whoa, what's going on, and had to redo things. So typically you will see our City of Rockford logo on it, and that we have allowed these folks to mail you. I will tell you right now, we almost never do that.
Yeah.
I really can't think of an energy company we've done it with except for one, and this was years ago, and I can't think of any other company except right now we are letting a group that sells water mains, but they wouldn't, I don't think many of you pay for your water main anyway. So like they would send it to my house saying, hey, I can buy an insurance policy for $4 a month in case my water main breaks, but that's it.
My daughter bought that and it worked.
Good. Yeah,
I want to give you one positive. Number one, thank you for coming.
yeah, thrilled to be
We
here.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you come again, we're going to have more bodies down here.
Awesome.
I guarantee it. Had a mattress up north of us on Rockton, between here and Elmwood. I didn't know, it's gone, because I called your street department,
Oh,
and
good.
that week it was gone. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good.
My other comment is buildings like the old Bergner's at Northtown. Do we have any kind of a policy where if you've got a new business coming in, they need to look at existing buildings like that before they say, okay, I'm gonna go build someplace else?
Real quick, the Bergner's at Northtown.
Northtown, the
It
bank
was
is on
last
the
the
corner of the
furniture
Bergner's,
store.
the old
Oh,
Wisey's at
yeah.
the very end.
Okay, sorry. One, that furniture store is gonna be the Excel Center, the one for high school diplomas.
Oh, okay.
So, but that wasn't your question. First, I will want to address, thank you for the compliment about street division. I will tell you this right now, our team does a lot of things exceptionally. We are incredible at being reactive. And I don't say that negatively, I say it, we have 1/3 less staff outside of police and fire than all of our comparable cities. So one thing we don't do well, and it's not a knock on my team, it's just, I want to keep property taxes down, and it's a problem with it, consequence of it. Since we have such low staff, we don't get to do as much proactive work, so we do rely on citizen input. So mentioning that like a mattress is there, they're gonna be out and pick it up. And
And
one,
you did.
and we also track every one of those calls.
Okay.
And so we not only track those calls, if someone wanted to go online and say there's a pothole right in front of Wesley Willows on Rockton, we will, you can create an account and you can
Okay.
get an email saying that you inputted a pothole. You will get an email that it was sent to a staff member. You will get an email that it was filled. And we have goals that we track every single week and every month and every year that, you know, a pothole, for an example, that's been submitted. I want it filled within 48 hours. I'm okay if it's filled within 72 hours. Anything beyond that, we failed.
Okay.
And so, same thing for tall grass, they're longer because we have to do certain things with the courts, or mattress, those are things we have to do and do well and quickly. So thank you. But question was, and I'll broaden it if it's okay with
That's
you.
fine.
Vacant buildings, do we have any policy that says new businesses have to look at them if they want to expand or come to Rockford?
Mhm.
We don't have a policy. What we do though is, if we're aware that they're looking with us, we bring them to our Community and Economic Development Department, and we highlight, selfishly, we highlight the properties we own first.
Okay.
We're like, will you please take this?
Yeah.
They don't want the properties we own. We're owner of last resort. So then we highlight all the areas that we know we have larger buildings that are vacant. And then we have a little bit of a priority. I can tell you, many of them are based off priorities. I have like the Schnucks on Rockton is a priority of mine. The Highlander on North Main is a priority of mine right now. That anyone who would fit that need, we're showing those properties.
Okay.
And we have relationships as much as we can with the owners of those properties. Sometimes they're a little rocky relationship because they don't always take care of their property the way I want them to.
Does somebody get a benefit by using an existing building to a certain extent?
I will tell you if they use certain buildings, well, one, any building in a TIF, tax increment financing district, yes, we will. And TIFs are created in distressed areas, which often have more propensity to have a higher rate of vacant buildings. So yes to that, but any vacant building, no. There are certain buildings that my team knows I really want filled that have been vacant for a long time that we are willing to go all in on.
Okay, well, and the same thing is true with Cliff Breakers too.
What's wrong with Cliff Breakers?
I never see cars there.
Oh, so one, you should go to Cliff Breakers. They,
They don't serve still.
so they are open. They, right now, they've invested millions. The gentleman who owns it, I was a little leery of him. He has come, I've met with him numerous times. He has a fantastic management company out of Chicago that manages really fine hotels in Chicago, like exceptional hotels. He has a local manager that's born and raised in Rockford, but had worked in Chicago forever. Now here, invested several $1 million into, redid their ballroom, their convention room, redid about half of their rooms. They're working through all of them.
Okay.
They've clear-cutted all the woods behind them so you can actually see the river again at Cliff Breakers. Shocking, we should do that. They've really invested. They just hired a brand new chef. They are so they don't serve food every day right now. But they just brought back room service. They are doing a lot more conventions and, chamber dinners, that type of stuff. And their goal is they want to have a restaurant there. And I just met with the owner sometime in the last 6 weeks,
Okay.
3 to 6 weeks ago. They want that restaurant sooner than later.
Okay.
Yeah.
This lady
Yeah.
has a question.
What's the status of the Mercy Health Hospital on Rockton these days?
Yeah, I'm gonna be super kind today. The question was status of the Mercy Health Hospital on Rockton. Yeah, you know what, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
You mean Javon Bay Hospital on Rockton. The one health system, 2 campuses, I think was their logo through all that BS. Sorry, it wasn't
You're
BS.
fine.
I shouldn't say that. All that stuff. Do you have like mute or beep on your camera back there? Beep. I think beep, beep, beep. All right. It's doing what we thought it would do, right? I mean, no shocker. They have slowly culled all the services out of the main, what I call hospital, they'll call a clinic. With that being said, I do want to say a couple of things. I obviously have issues with Javon. He certainly has issues with me. He is suing me and the city for about $48 million. I will say they have some amazing employees at Rockford Memorial. I think sometimes I'm too hard, and I don't thank the amazing people who work there when I get angry with one person. I have worked really hard to build a better relationship with, I won't say necessarily with him, because he's just not here all the time, but with his chief medical officer, chief of nursing, his CFO, all the leadership, we've really built a better relationship. we are talking. There are some opportunities, I would say, for Rockton, and some potential partnerships for Rockton. That's all I can say at this time, but I'm more optimistic today than when I was here 3 months ago and talked to the group on the other side. And each day we get a little bit more optimistic. I'm still cautious and a little nervous because after all, it is him and my personal opinion, and he knows it. I don't think he does anything for anyone else, it's for him. And so I still gotta figure out what I'm dealing with, but I am optimistic. I mean, right now, we've had really genuine, honest, tough, good conversations for the last 4 or 5 months. So we're getting there, I think, potentially.
Another question about the environment, but before I get to my question, thank you for all these wonderful programs. I mean, they give us hope as residents of Rockford that we can overcome the issues, and thank you for that. But with regard to the environment, garbage and plastics, I mean, are just huge issues, huge issues. And I saw a program some months back about, I think it was a Scandinavian country that burned its refuse. I mean, Rockford, as I understand it, sends it to landfills, you know. And so, has the city ever looked at the possibility of burning our garbage in an environmentally friendly way, you know, with all the filters and all that kind of thing?
So we send ours to the Winnebago County landfill. So let me repeat the question, sorry. Saw, and tell me if I get this right or wrong, saw a program maybe in a Scandinavian country of them environmentally friendly, in an environmentally friendly way, burning their garbage, and wanted to know, have we ever thought of that? Because it would be good for the environment, et cetera, et cetera. Is that fair?
Yep.
So we send our garbage to the Winnebago County landfill. The organization, the taxing body that leads that initiative is Winnebago County, not City of Rockford. So we contract our garbage with Rock River Disposal. Rock River Disposal then pays a dumping fee, or what they call a host fee, to Winnebago County and the landfill. Long wind up here. We have about 10 to 12 years left of that landfill. It's the largest landfill in Illinois. We get an incredible, Joe Shirelli, the chairman, knows all the data far better than I do, but the majority of the garbage that's dumped there is from Chicago. Yeah, because they pay money and people want money. And so I will tell you, we've never had those discussions until recently. And I will give Chairman Joe Shirelli a lot of credit. Himself and now us at the city are really leading an initiative to bring a group called Monarch Energy to Rockford. And this is like way over my head, the technologies that they're using, but they want to take the gases from that and somehow create sustainable aviation fuel, SAF. And they would use SAF, which would then be purchased by our airport and many others. And so it would be really good for the environment. It would incredibly extend the life of the landfill. And truthfully, it would make us a bunch of money. And so right now, there are rules being discussed in the Senate. Not that they'll actually move on anything anytime soon, but there are rules being discussed in the Senate and by the Treasury Department. And there's a Rule 25 that we are trying to change. And we've actually had Senator Tammy Duckworth here, Senator Durbin, I've been to DC talking about it, that in Rule 25, and this is like getting super wonky, but in Rule 25, they provide tax credits for certain items. We want them to provide a tax credit for this specific production. If we get that, we're gonna get Monarch Energy. They've already said they would come here. And it will be more than a $1 billion investment in capital, buildings and things out there. It won't come with a lot of employees, probably 50 or so, but it would open up that entire southwest quadrant of the airport, land that we own in Rockford, and we own just a little bit in Ogle County. it would open all that for other development. I mean, it will be truly probably one of the biggest game-changing economic development projects in the city of Rockford history, if it happens. But it can only happen if we can get this rule to provide up to 20-25% tax credit for this. And Duckworth is behind it, she's highly supportive, so we're seeing good energy, but we need them to get it done. So that's the only thing I know about the,
Hope.
yeah, there is hope there.
Hope.
Questions, concerns, yeah.
In your Rockford Promise, you only said that the Rockford Promise went to Northern, but I do believe it does to Rock Valley College also.
So,
Rockford College.
okay, when the question was, when I stated that about Rockford Promise, I only mentioned that it went to Northern Illinois University, but stated that it goes to Rock Valley College and Rockford University. Answer is yes and no. A 100% guaranteed promise, the only group that goes to is Northern Illinois University. Rock Valley and Rockford University, they will provide as many scholarships as they get funding for. So like this year, they're providing 4 to Rockford University, but they had 120 applicants. This year, they're providing 40 maybe or so to Rock Valley College, but they had, 90 applicants. Leads me to something. You're gonna see at some point, I want this summer, but maybe it'll be early fall. I wanna expand that program, and not everyone's gonna agree with me. Shocker. But my first college was not Northern Illinois University to do that deal with. The first one was Rockford University. They would not give me the deal I wanted. The second one was Rock Valley College, and they wouldn't give me any deal. And then Northern Illinois said, I heard you want a deal, we'll cut you this deal, and it was amazing. And it's unlimited number of students, we pay X amount a year, and I don't have to worry about it. Someone who's in 3rd grade, it's truly a promise. They're gonna get it if they work hard and live in Rockford and go to Rockford Public Schools. There were lots of concerns about, I really want Rockford University. I think it's a gem. I think it's something that we need to celebrate and kind of ingrain further into the city of Rockford. And so they have a newer president in Patty Lynott out there. She is a rock star. You should have her come and speak to you. She is a rock star. She's taking names out there. It's awesome. She came to me and said, first meeting I ever had with her, she was like, you got some program called Rockford Promise. I'm gonna tell you right now, I will be at Rockford Promise College. I was like, all right, you're who I wanna talk to. She cut us a great deal, so it will go before council. Do you air this on TV?
No,
Okay.
just on our campus
All
side.
right, don't
yeah.
live tweet this at home, don't live tweet this. My council's gonna get something that goes before them that says, for $600,000, every single low and moderate income student in Rockford could go to Rockford University for free every year.
Whoa.
I think it's worthy. The question that's gonna go before council is, do they include public and private, or just public? I think they're gonna end up including public and private. One, the cost doesn't change. And 2, it's not that we would be paying for Tom McNamara, who is sending his kids to private school. Me and Sarah make enough, and that's our choice to send them to private school. I firmly believe that it's someone's choice. They don't have to, but that's their choice. Like my parents sent all of us to private school. But I think there are a number of private high schools in Rockford who provide quite a few scholarships and programs for low and moderate income kids to go there. So my thing is, if you're low and moderate income, I want you to have every chance to succeed. I mean, it's great that we're providing a high school degree, but let's get you the college degree. And it's a small number of kids that I can include. I still have some work to do. I gotta work with Rockford Promise Board. I gotta work with our city council, but I'm really close. I think you'll see something, you will see something come before council in the next 90 days. I don't know exactly if it'll be public and private or just public. I've told everyone I'm putting something forward that'll pass, because my number one goal is I want it to expand. Any other questions? So I'll leave a couple of cards here. I don't have tons, I don't think, with me. I got a bunch. I'll leave some cards here. If you have questions or didn't feel comfortable asking questions, or you have an issue that you want us to work on, like a mattress or something, send me an email. We'd be happy to take it. Appreciate Wesley Willis for letting me be out here. Appreciate you guys for letting me serve as mayor. I really do appreciate it. It's most fun job and most fulfilling job I think there could be. So I appreciate all of you, and me and Sarah are going to continue to be married because today we have air conditioning back. It's great. So thank you.